Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And, I have to admit here, I'm going to, sort of throw myself under the bus. This is take two. Not really take two. The first time I started talking, I actually didn't hit the record button. I had hit the play button, which is right next to the record button. And I'm talking, and then it's like, wait a second. Why isn't there anything there? Oh, right. I hit play instead of record, so let me try this again. And, yeah, we're recording. We're doing the show. And, I've said before, and I'll say it again, that this show is kind of therapy for me. And I do this show as much for myself as for anybody else. And with that in mind, before I get into the show topic for today, I want to go ahead and make an announcement that I believe I had said a couple of shows ago. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the show next week. And there may or may not be a show this Friday. And a lot of this is dependent upon travel. What time am I leaving on Friday? What time am I getting to the campground? How good is the internet going to be? Is there going to be, steady internet? Will I be able to do the daily newscast? So, there's some unanswered questions about the show just next week, from Friday until all of next week, which would be the 19th through the 25th. So basically, next Monday, next Friday. Not sure if there's going to be a show. Not sure if there's going to be a show this Friday. But the show itself is not going away. Just, camping in the woods. Not sure how good the internet is going to be. So, let's jump into Darryl's therapy for Monday, June the 12th. And let's talk about insecurities. And I'm going to, before I get into the article from lifehack.org, I saw a post by a friend of mine, an actual friend, not just one of these, online acquaintance people. An actual friend of mine. Posted on Facebook a couple days ago, what would you do if you had 5% more self-confidence? And my initial thought was, then I'd have 5% self-confidence. But then I, as I often do, turned it into a joke answer of, let me pretend I'm increasing a video game character and give, a certain percent charisma and certain percent something else. Because, turning things into jokes is how certain people cope with things. And, again, the article, Insecurities are hidden wounds that take time to heal. It's no coincidence that the media will turn to the childhood stories to seek out where things went wrong when a star has a meltdown. The explanation might just be the attachment theory. This could also be part of the reason that your relationships as an adult are suffering today. Find out exactly what it is and how you can help yourself heal from it today. The attachment theory, and before I go into the attachment theory, it's not just superstars or whatever that are adults that have meltdowns where the media is like, oh, let's go back and see how their childhood was. They also do this with child stars, to where little Corey wound up getting famous at a young age and then wound up turning to drugs because he didn't know how to be an adult. Well, there's no wonder when your entire upbringing is you're basically always putting on masks that you don't know how to cope and deal with life. But I digress and continue. The attachment theory is the emotional and physical attachment you experience with your mom and dad growing up. It was John Bowlby who first coined the phrase after doing studies on brain development in children. The study showed that as we have a strong bond, or rather when we have a strong bond with one or both parents, we are mentally more sound. Attachment will connect certain behaviors kids have. This includes seeking out the attachment figure when they feel threatened or afraid. Bowlby studied disturbed children and found that children really do need their mother in particular. And then there's also the detachment, which is something completely different, and I don't have anything pulled up on, but I have watched some videos on detachment, and it's actually fairly interesting to look at, because again, like some of these things are things that I deal with, and actually I think the way I stumbled upon the detachment video, and I'm laughing just because it's funny how I stumbled upon the video. Stumbled upon it because I had seen some videos of J.P. Sears where he was, doing, there was the video if meat eaters talked like vegetarians. And it was just absolute humor. To where it's like, oh yes, this is a meatless cucumber substitute. There's actually no cucumber in here at all. And then there are, other things. And then he's got a video on like the flat earth theory. And it's just absolutely hilarious. And from there, I was like, let me see what's on this guy's YouTube channel. Oh, here's something. Let me see how he makes this funny. And it wasn't funny at all. But I still watched it, and I learned. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. We're talking about insecurities and how we can overcome them, possibly. Again, article from lifehack.org. When there's a disconnection at a young age, and again, this is talking about the attachment theory, that growing up you need two or more. I'm not going to rule out the possibility that you need more than two, sort of role models, parent figures. And that could be parents, it could be grandparents, it could be aunts, it could be uncles. So I'm not going to say, a specific family structure of, there must be a mother and a father, or there needs to be a father and two mothers, or a mother and two fathers. No, there needs to be that. And I hate to take a phrase from Hillary Clinton, but she says it takes a village. And it kind of does, but I mean this in a completely different way. She means it in, we need the government to, enforce, and government needs to be there, blah, blah, blah. I look at it more along the lines of you need that family structure, and the entire family needs to be involved. So multiple, adult role models. When there's a disconnect to where, the child doesn't have those role models, then it does cause problems as adults in relationships. The article says you may have unrealistic expectations that cause relationships to break down. Maybe you've never thought about what happens within you when anxiety builds up over small things. You may be overly jealous and hate yourself for it. These feelings don't allow you to have a sense of peace in your life. The problem with attachment, in theory, may cause you to look like the psycho girlfriend or the overprotective boyfriend. It may be that you've never known what it feels like to belong to something or to even feel secure. So whether a child feels secure plays an important role in how secure they feel as an adult. Author Megan Lislowski wrote a book about how to deal with heartbreak. And give me 1 second. I will scroll down because they do have a footnote here with the title of the book. The title of that book is How to Stop Attachment Insecurity from Ruining Your Love Life. In that book, she attributed to knowing the ins and outs of the attachment theory. This helps you to understand where these needs come from. Once you know why you're needing excess love, constant praise, and are desperate for intimacy, you can start to move past it. Article continues, a child's intimacy and sense of security with their primary caregiver will play an important role in how secure the adult feels in life. There are various symptoms that come with a childhood where you weren't given the proper love you needed. You might have fear of intimacy. You might avoid getting into a serious relationship so you don't have to deal with the deep emotions that lie beneath. You never learned how to open your heart to someone, and the brain tells you that's unfamiliar. When the brain hasn't dealt with an experience before, it goes into the fight or flight response. And before I continue with the article, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of what the flight or fight response is. I've also heard it recently called the warrior or worrier emotion response. Something, are you going to sit there and worry about it, or are you going to go into warrior mode and defeat it? But fight or flight is you're approached with something scary. It could be, an emotional threat. It could be a physical threat. Do you respond by running away, or do you face the threat head on? There's no need, the article continues, there's no need to endure childhood emotions in your adult relationships any longer. There are ways that you can combat your insecure feelings. You will not only get in touch with your own heart, but you can share love with others without the fear that you might get hurt. And they now enter into the, here are ways to heal those insecurities that linger from childhood. Seeing a therapist about the deepest hurt you have will allow you to unpeel all of the layers. For so long you've been covering up your feelings that built up through not feeling loved as a child. Researchers Dr. Philip Shaver and Cindy Hazen found that about 60% of people have a secure attachment, while 20% have an avoidance attachment, and another 20% have an anxious attachment. There is a footnote here that links over to something from Psychology Today. They continue by saying, seeing a therapist, it says will, I'm going to say can, help you uncover the pain that's been sitting there possibly for decades. This will allow the healing process to begin, and you'll be given tools to start rebuilding relationships. There's also more ways to fix your insecurity. If you believe that your relationships aren't working because of childhood experiences, here are some steps you can take. Understand your attachment pattern by doing some research on attachment theory. There's plenty of information online, from scientific to deeply emotional accounts. Find what resonates with you. Knowing what you're dealing with will help you combat it. Seek out friends and partners who exhibit secure attachment. This is the opposite of negative attachment styles. You don't need a partner in crime full of their own emotional problems. Research has said that half of all adults have secure attachment. It's believed that a positive experience with a person who is secure will help you deal with your insecurities. There is more on this. Plus, what is love? Nope, not going to sing the song. I've actually got an article about it. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
During the 2013 Porcupine Freedom Festival, Davi Barker presented an idea for a renegade psychological experiment. Since then, he has refined his idea and put his plan and research into writing. He explains, "We aim to show the world beyond a shadow of a doubt that power corrupts absolutely and corrupt authority deserves no obedience." Authoritarian Sociopathy is available from Amazon.com, all major bookstores, and now available as an audiobook. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, Spendabit, and Amazon at shop.fppradio.com, helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And before I get back into the article, I've got a question for you. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? If so, then you need Spendabit in your arsenal. Spendabit is the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products. Just went to the website. Over 3 million items are searchable on Spendabit. These come from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin-accepting merchant like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. Spend a bit. .fppradio.com. Getting back into the article about insecurities and ways that you can overcome them. I'm going to repeat the last couple here. You need to understand your attachment pattern by doing some research on attachment theory. They say there's a lot of information online that can help you understand, all the way from just emotional accounts to scientific research. Find out what resonates with you, and knowing what you're dealing with will help you combat it. Seek out friends and partners who exhibit secure attachment. Researchers have said that about half of adults have secure attachment, and it's believed that a positive experience with a person who is secure will help you deal with your insecurity. If you've already fallen in love with someone, built a life, and both have similar issues with attachment, going to couples therapy might be helpful. If you can go through the journey of changing attachment patterns together, you can handle anything. And staying relaxed is essential. With almost any type of therapy, the West has now recognized the need for calmness. The emotions that you experience as you uncover your childhood pain should include yoga and meditation, both things that we've talked about on this show about some of the benefits of each. Centering yourself as you deal with emotional storms is a holistic means of powerful healing. And what you get in return when you do heal is worth it. Remember that secure attachment in your relationships can extend to the rest of your life. Your interaction with the Starbucks barista can be more enriching. As you open your heart more naturally, you'll gain more energy in life. If you boost your security, you become more generous, more compassionate. That feels really good as well. The more you give, the more secure you will become. So let's change gears just slightly. I did ask the question, what is love? And no, I'm not going to sing the song, but oftentimes you will hear that there are two types of love, right? There's conditional love and there's unconditional love. Well, Michael Lilly, he's got an article here about what is love and what is not. Unconditional love really exists, and it's not just a myth, but it's only understood when we first make attempts to understand conditional love. Today, everyone speaks of love like it's a dice. Hardly do we make attempts to know the content of the word love beyond just the 4 letters. A few of us who claim to know the meaning of this word only speak of its emotional connection with our being and with its chemical drive when we're dealing with the opposite or same sex. Don't get confused. There's conditional love and unconditional love, and below we'll examine the difference and help identify unconditional love. Conditional love. You expect a recompense for every action in proportion to your emotion or material input. Have you ever been in a relationship where you expect a recompense for every action? For example, you find numerous online dating platforms today where individuals profile their personality and go for a hunt for a suitable partner sharing similar traits or simply possessing desired traits they call the perfect match. This is especially evident in sugar daddy, sugar baby dating in numerous platforms where rich men or women seek emotional dependence, companionship, and or sexual satisfaction from someone younger, and in turn pay their bills or just guarantee their material satisfaction, vice versa. This is a give-and-take process, and of course, as long as each partner gets satisfaction, the relationship continues and each feels a great sense of fulfillment. This means there's an opposite emotion for this love, which is hatred. Once one of the lovers defaults in giving or taking in accord to the proportion, the love may die or even turn to hatred. Here you know your limit, what you stand to give, what you stand to take, and what proportion of each. Each individual feels like a Superman and controls the other when it's their turn to give or take. This is not something where you're looking for someone with whom to share your whole self. but just someone to complete you. This is conditional. Stay tuned. There's more.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com.
Hi, this is Davi Barker from ShinyBadges.com, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Real quick, what is unconditional love? Unconditional love is often misinterpreted by many people. They simply use this as a wrong reason to continue in an unfavorable relationship or simply persuade someone into managing them. Even when they aren't sure what it is, they misuse it for some ideal they seek. After, like you hear, they say, and that sentence sounds really weird, but they give an example of something that someone would say, I believe in loving people before they can come to love themselves. Some even go so far as to say they'll love unconditionally because they have a special belief. This is a total mistake. Now, let's look at this. Not, I love you even if you treat me bad, but I love you whatever life gives. If you critically examine these two phrases, you'll understand the second phrase means, in any condition of life, I will love you. This is unconditional love. What keeps couples together is not the places they visit or the things they do or things they have in common, but their responses when there's a challenge to overcome. That you love someone unconditionally doesn't mean you don't feel disappointed at their actions sometimes, and being disappointed at them doesn't mean that your affection is reduced or withdrawn. You simply just fulfill the fact that you're a human. Now, I want to pause here because I know that there's not time to go through the entire article and sort of reflect on just a portion of that last sentence where it says that you love someone unconditionally doesn't mean that you never feel disappointed at their actions. And this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, to where maybe they might think that, my mom or my dad or my significant other is disappointed in me, therefore they don't love me. But then there's the other aspect, or rather the other half of the sentence. It says, and when you're disappointed with someone, it doesn't mean that you reduce the affection or that you withdraw the affection. And there's a lot of people, and I've been in a relationship where this happened, to where affection would be withdrawn if I did something that disappointed my significant other. And it's something that's really difficult and painful to deal with, right? That's it for today. Link will be in the show notes. Don't forget, send your questions to ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.